Hello, welcome back to Silver Thread Sewing. I'm Diane. This is Friday Sews. I appreciate you stopping by my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you have been here before, thank you so much for stopping again. I have a little bit of sewing and a little bit of life to talk to you about, but it's really brief. It's been a roller coaster this week. So I want to talk about the little tiny bit of sewing that I got done. For those of you who are just here for that and the Friday Sews part, that's totally great and I appreciate it. So I have worked on Simplicity 9698 a little bit this week and got it finished. And it's this little jacket, little coat for our Beagle Salem. And I made version B, but I didn't put all the trim or anything on it. It has a version that you can put little pockets on and make it to where it would hold treats or whatever you wanted to put in the little pocket. But I just made her one out of a fleece blanket, and I'm going to put pictures in somewhere so you can see her wearing it. She is a chubby beagle. When we got her, she was almost dead with bacterial infections and worms and parasites. She was a rescue, and she was very, very underweight. She weighed 3.5 pounds when we got her. And so she now doesn't know hunger, but she is too big, too fat. But she likes to be snuggly and warm, so I did make her the little sweater, and I just used little Velcro squares to put on the end so it fastens underneath her tummy as well as underneath her neck. And she looks like she's bundled up to go to Alaska, but she did like it, and I've got some pictures of her with it on. Now, I have not started on my vest made out of this pre-quilted fabric. I am using New Look 6308. Showed you that last week, and I'm going to use that as my starting point. Many of you had suggested using Hong Kong seams, Hong Kong finishing for the seams, because I want to make it reversible if I can. I just love this pre-quilted fabric, and I only have enough just for a vest. So I talked about all that last week, and I'm not going to rehash that. I will move. If you are just here for the sewing, that is everything I've done in the sewing room. I do have one new tool to share with you, and it is this little hole punch device. I don't know, I hope you can see that. It came, I ordered this from Amazon, and it came with 6 different sized little hole punch dies. Now, I have a rivet press. You may just be able to see it there. I'm not sure if that's it right there or not, but no, it's not. You may be able to see it right there, but it's heavy, and I only have a one size hole punch die for it. So this is just a little handheld device, and it works really well. I got it intentionally to make the holes like when you're doing a dart, and you can mark those little holes in the pattern, and then you can just go through the hole with a pen or something and mark those. So that was my intention on buying this, but I have tried it, and I think it's going to work to do. Oops, about dropped it. Ooh. I think it's going to work to do the holes, like to put a grommet in, like if I do another sweatshirt, hooded sweatshirt. I think the biggest one, which I think is on the thing now, I think that would work to do the grommet holes without having to drag out my big one or take a chance on making the holes too big. So I will link to this below, because like I said, I just ordered it. I think it was $8 or $9. But I'm real happy with it. It just came today. So I haven't really got to try it out much, only I did try it out on paper. So hopefully, and the way I used it, I don't know that that's the correct way, but I just used it with my little piece of wood that came with my buttonhole chisel. And I used it just to punch a hole in paper to try it out. But I'm hoping to be able to use it on fabric as well, like if you do need to make a hole for a grommet or something. So that is all the sewing. I want to tell you real quickly how much I appreciate everyone who has prayed, who has wished me well with my eye. I had the problem last week, right after Christmas. I noticed my vision was much worse, to the point that I couldn't see to sew, I couldn't read, I couldn't drive. It just progressively got worse, and I couldn't get in to see a doctor until January 2nd because of the holidays and being closed. So I got in on Tuesday, and the doctor that I'm seeing now, she told me, she said, she kind of said, well, why are we seeing you early? And I said, well, because my vision has significantly changed for the worse. And my other doctor always told me if anything like that happened suddenly, to call immediately and get in as soon as possible in case I'd had another bleed, a diabetic bleed in my eye. And she kind of gave me the impression that, I should have just waited till next week, which would have been 10 weeks. I told her, that my vision had never been affected in the central part, that it had been in the peripheral, all the things I told you last week. But she said, she just kind of sat back in her chair and she said, look, you need to realize that even if we treat this aggressively, you're going to have progressively getting worse with your vision, because that's how this works. And I said, well, that's not what 2 other doctors here had told me. They had told me that as long as we, kept the injections at 6 weeks and I didn't have any, major blood sugar problems or anything like that, that, there was a chance it could maybe get a little better or at least be stable, which it had been for the last year until I missed that 11 weeks. And then this time she had me scheduled for 10 weeks. And she said, well, I don't agree with that. I think that you need to just realize that, it's progressively going to fluctuate and change. But I'll be glad to go ahead and inject it today, and we'll get you back on the 6-week injection schedule that you were on before, if you're more comfortable with that. And I said, well, I definitely am more comfortable with that, because that had obviously been working, because I hadn't had any progression, no new bleeds. But what she told me was that I did not have any additional bleed in my eye this time. She said there is some additional fluid and some additional swelling underneath your retina, but she said it's not significant. But I took a picture of their screen with the scan of my eye, and the area that I've been watching and that the other doctor had shown me, it was worse. The swelling was worse. So after the shot, it was even a little worse than it had been, to the point that I really didn't know what I was going to do. I've had, it's just been a roller coaster week. It was to the point that I really didn't think I was going to be able to do anything. I mean, read, drive. My glasses didn't help. When I would be in the car with Greg driving, I could see the set of yellow lines in the middle, but then there was another set of yellow lines at the top, and they were very wavy, and just everything was just so distorted. And I have not been able to reply to any comments because I just couldn't focus enough. I could read the comments, and I saw enough to put a little heart on all your comments, but I couldn't see enough to reply. And I had gotten a message, I believe it was last night, and one of you kind people had said, I'm praying right now for healing for your eye. And so Greg's been praying for me, and I've had my church praying, and my daughter, and everybody I know, and you guys, many of you, and everybody has been so kind to wish me the best and just encourage. And that has meant so much, because I really didn't feel like I got that from the doctor. Anyway, praise the Lord and thank you for your prayers. This morning when I woke up, I was afraid to open my eyes. I was afraid that it would either be worse or it wouldn't be any better. And I know that's not being very faith-filled, but it's just been so bad all week. But today has been a little bit better. I can see enough to read. I can read my patterns. It's better with my glasses on. And if I close my good eye, it's still blurry and a little distorted. I can make out parts of the words, but when I open both eyes, I can read pretty normally now. So that is an improvement. So I do believe that the swelling has gone down some in my left eye and some improvement. So it's not as good as it has been, but it's certainly not as bad as it was since Christmas. So I'm not going to make this a channel about my diabetes and my health woes and my all that, because that's not what you're here for, and I don't blame you. But I did want to take the time to explain what kind of week it's been and to just say thank you. thank you for your prayers and your wishes of getting better and your encouragement. I hope that this coming week I will be able to get some sewing done, because I haven't been able to do anything really since before Christmas. Since Christmas is when it got so much worse. But my dog has her coat, her blanket. I had gotten it sewed up Monday, the first day of January. I did that and then went in on Tuesday to the doctor. So hopefully that is going to be okay for a little while, and I go back in 6 weeks for another injection, and I'm hoping that, that hopefully it will stay a little bit improved and the swelling will continue maybe to go down a little bit more. But just thank you to all of you, and thank you for stopping by. I know here lately especially I've just not had very much to share with you in the sewing part of this, and that's what it's supposed to be about. But I do still appreciate everything that you have done by watching and encouraging and all that. So thanks also, I didn't say thank you to Jen at the beginning, but thanks to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting this hashtag. Thanks to all of you for watching, and remember, don't ever stop sewing. As long as you can see and as long as you can enjoy the process in any way, just keep right on sewing, because you'll never have time or money to get into any other trouble as long as you sew. But God bless you all, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you. Bye.